Hello and welcome to the Animator's Commentary of the Simpsons movie. My name is David Silverman, and I had the great pleasure and honor to direct this motion picture.
And my name is Mike Anderson, and I'm one of the sequence directors.
And my name is Steve Moore, and I'm also one of the sequence directors.
I'm Rich Moore, also one of the sequence directors.
That's true.
And
kind of weird.
We're also speaking for Lauren McMullen, who could not make it because she is touring the country and then somewhere in Montana.
She's in Montana now.
Yes.
Signing an autograph at a Quickie Mart.
Now, this first sequence is fabulous, and Steve, you ran it. What do you got to say about this?
Well, we were trying to make it look somewhat like Neil Armstrong getting off the moon. And
That isn't?
And it's not, no.
Oh.
Or at least try to give you
it's
the
the
idea that
cat.
it may have been Homer. And that
And we never get a big laugh on the reveal.
we never get a big laugh on the reveal.
But, well, pretty good laugh.
Well, this gets a big laugh.
That gets a big laugh, yes.
You tried.
I do like good old-fashioned cartoon violence.
I laugh at it when I see the reveal.
That was
here.
a nice piece of animation as Scratchy
Caroline
was getting stabbed.
Crookshank.
Say that again?
Caroline Crookshank.
Yes.
A wonderful, talented, very nice woman from Canada who loves to do cartoon violence.
We had foreigners working on this
We
movie.
did.
Many foreigners.
Outsourced.
But all the papers were in order.
All sorts.
By the way, at Comic-Con, people wanted to know where they could get an itchy Hillary shirt.
We should mention.
All over America, I believe, because they actually are a team.
We should mention that we're recording this the week right after Comic-Con.
That's right, after the
That's
film
A
opened.
week after the release of the film.
We're much more confident of talking
Yeah,
about it.
we're a little puffed up here.
We like the movie.
Hey, this is a wonderful shot. I just love that.
Yeah.
I like missiles.
Missiles are
And
good.
this sequence here, this went through many incarnations, but this is the best one.
Right.
Yeah, this had many versions, and we thought this was the best one.
Well, that shot was actually, we did animate it all here. In fact, clean it up because it was like at the last minute. So we had
It's great animation. I
true.
mean,
It's great.
who did
That was-
that?
that was-
Caroline?
Caroline.
that's great.
Caroline did it.
Very nice.
Right here, this is the great Herman Sharaff, also Canadian.
Great animation that Herman did on
You
the
know,
homework.
calling the
Great scene.
audience suckers really scared me until I saw people laughing at it.
Because really,
You know why?
don't we all feel like suckers inside?
Because David told me to make sure Homer smiles when he says suckers.
That's right. He's got to be happy. He's got to be happy. And that a fly-in was done on After Effects actually by Roger.
Great Roger Injaro-san.
Yeah. Yes.
Very good.
Excuse me, my hiney is dipping.
And this little sequence was done by one of the other sequence directors, Steve Markowski.
Steve, an old friend of mine, went to college with him.
Yep. Great guy.
Great guy.
A lot of work on
Wonderful
Spider-Man
director.
films.
Yep.
And worked with Brad Bird on Iron Giant.
I love the audience
Steve,
for
you've
this
done a
Green
good
Day
job
show.
here.
Very good.
Should be proud of yourself, Steve. I'm sorry, Mike.
Say something about the environment.
Very careful to have like actual characters, and every person there's no sort of like secondary bland character. They're all the real Springfield denizens.
Even Hibbert with his stethoscope.
Oh.
Right.
It's interesting that the rich Texan came to see the Green Day concert.
Everybody loves Green
But
Day.
he's always in Springfield. He's not in Texas.
Yeah, Jimbo, Dolph, Kearney, they didn't come to see it.
And this, of course, is a reference to the Andrea Doria.
I love
That
this
was
bit.
just horrible, that disaster, the Andrew Dorian.
Yeah, they did so horrible they can't make a movie out of it.
Yeah.
It's just too sad. And of course, that was one of several jokes, the cell phone.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
We had about 15.
Yeah. We decided that was the best one.
Now, Steve you started this, Steve.
I started this one. I had a lot of sequences initially, and then got to be too much. And fortunately, other people came on. And I was able to hand them off. Originally, the sequence started out with Marge going crazy, and at some point, it was switched to Grandpa, and was all agreed that that was a big improvement.
And, you know, it's interesting in that road to Grandpa. I think one thought was maybe the crazy cat lady, and then was sort of settled on Grandpa.
I miss, there was a bit where Skinner or Lovejoy says that, you know, we're going to try something different, and the organist kind of left in a
Oh,
huff.
yeah.
So that was
Got upset and stormed off, and it looked really good, and nobody laughed. So
And originally, it was
I chuckled by myself.
originally
well, that's what I
the
mean.
whole
By
idea.
yourselves, we all chuckled. We should
The
have
whole
laughed
i-
harder.
The whole idea was that Lovejoy was actually going to do something different, and everybody was upset by it.
Oh, well, I just want to jump back on that gay, 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 gay. The lip sync was actually missing, and the tongue just sort of pops on and off. And Steve wanted to fix it, and I said, no, it looks
just
great.
works. It works really
hilarious.
well.
It's really
And
good.
this scene, too, there's a lot of talk of, because I felt you got to get rid of the crowd, because it has to be a moment that only Grandpa is. And we,
I love the
It works.
transition
Yeah.
from where the light hits him to
Yeah.
just that background kind of popping
Yeah.
when he stands
it works
up.
really well. And it's one of these things that you think continuity, the audience will catch on. That you don't see it. You don't notice it.
It's pure communication, and that's one of the great things about animation is you remove the crowd to focus on the thing you want
Yeah.
versus
This sequence to me always, the compositions in this church, in this sequence, from the beginning I thought were just fantastic. you
Well, I
know.
think,
It-
we started with the board. The board had really strong compositions. In it.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lot of help on that. One of the things that helped was that Razul Azajani built a 3D model of the church.
Yes.
And so
and I
we were able to
think that
compose a
worked out.
lot of the shots that way, right in the storyboard.
Yeah.
Razul was the background supervisor and did a smashing job under the most
Layout
extreme
supervisor. Layout
circumstances.
supervisor.
Yes, layout supervisor, and he kept his giant crew going round the clock, doing all these wonderful backgrounds.
so now, is that a CG background?
It's kind of
or
half
is
and
it
half.
just a,
It's CG. I think it's a CG sort of floor.
Right.
And they're flats. They're
that are
flat.
kind of like cards on
Yeah,
it?
this
Right.
is an idea that Razul had, and he showed it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that looked really great. And
Because I think you guys built kind of a section of Springfield. We should explain up front that
Yeah.
the movie was split. The animation was split between two
two
studios.
studios, yes.
Film Roman and
And-
Rough Draft
right.
Studios, and Mike and Steve were at Film Roman. Lauren and I were at Rough Draft, and you guys had certain parts of Springfield
Right.
built.
Yes,
in
and then
3D.
this was a couple of areas that we did that.
Yeah, and then I had
it's,
mostly the destroyed kind of
Right. Right.
city hall or the courthouse and the town square. So
Now, this is Mike's sequence starting with.
This was actually started as your sequence, and I inherited it when your duties got
when you
too,
died.
Oh,
Yeah.
too
my
intense.
sequence.
Yeah, you started
Died and
this.
reborn
Oh,
as
I
director.
started
You were doing
Okay.
sequences before the.
Well, no, I started
he had
boarding
to
this.
spend
I
the
started
night in a
boarding this
haunted
about, well, I think I started boarding this about 3 months before you guys came on.
Right.
This is one of the earliest
Yeah, this was
sequences
Yeah.
that I remember
Yeah.
seeing. You know,
this was boarded by Martin Archer, Wes Archer's brother, and has done a lot of work with
fantastic story.
really board art, great
Yeah.
artist, but great director on King of the Hill. But this is very very early and largely unchanged.
Unchanged,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Well,
there's a part in this that I always liked, Lupin the Third, where he's running down the side of the roof.
Yeah,
Right.
And this is what that was. That Bart rolling down is from that.
I just want to say I love how quickly the turn is from Homer being pissed off to that sounds like fun
With a hammer eye
His
wound.
eye is totally fine.
Well, Homer,
you know.
Homer's fine like that.
It's one of the
the
quickest
beauty of
turns.
animation.
It's just
Yeah.
great.
I always thought it was great, just like all of a sudden Bart's the adult and Homer's the kid.
yeah.
They like this relationship.
Well, there's some really great animation on
Yeah.
this with Homer. Really terrific.
Now I've never understood how Bart thought this was going to be fun.
Was that Ralph?
Well, yeah, a lot. Ralph Sosa, my assistant director on the movie, did a lot of in-house animation, and he worked on that sequence quite a bit and did some of the really special stuff that's very funny. And you'll hear his name a lot because he did a lot of great stuff.
This was very early on, by the way. We wanted to do a long take, and I remember there was concern from some of the producers that you want to have
Getting her
inserts
from
and cuts, and I was like, no, we just
Door
going to
to
do one
door.
long
Yeah,
shot.
this was Lauren's section.
right.
Yeah. So she had to kind of hustle Lisa as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
From
but I knew it was going to work. I knew it would be fast, but I knew it would work fine.
It was the only way the joke would work because you had to. I love that
just
joke.
love
that was one.
That
In
doesn't
the
come out of
beginning,
left
I
field.
thought, how is that going to work? You know? And
Well, I
lo
thought
and
was that-
behold, you
My
know.
thought was there a little canal,
Yeah. There's things like that all through the movie where we would get pages on a new joke, and I'd wonder, what what? You know, and then you kind of dive into it.
There's some really nice subtle animation. I like the way when Nelson yells at Milhouse. Milhouse has a hand sort of jerk up like that. It's a really great little touches that Lauren threw in.
Well, and I like the
and I love this
the
here.
apple tree, the Adam and Eve Eden
Right,
setting.
little symbolism, and I like the window being shut behind them as they're talking.
You know, it's a strange thing, but I like the way Lisa doesn't say my name's Lisa because we all know it.
Yeah, that was great that they cut that out. This was a lot of iterations to get to this, and I love getting to this. This piece was actually done by Chris Clements. This first part of this animation, and it's just really charming.
This here.
And then it goes right into Lauren's animation of her passing out. And it worked really well.
This movie, we should just mention, was a gigantic collaboration.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Very talented people, you know.
And if we forget you, we're sorry.
Yeah, and I'm very sorry if I don't
We're trying to mention
your
all
name,
you guys, but they're all
you person.
Yeah.
You know.
This is hilarious.
This one got done. This one was collaborated on too, in a lot of different versions where we had Comic Book Guy with Marge, and then
at one point Marge went to the Comic Book Guy's store and was getting the info there, and
and of course we had a version where Marge went to Reverend Lovejoy, but we figured one of the problems we had enough of Reverend Lovejoy.
Yeah, he already had his scene.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that scene where the crawl went advertising? That was something that I was really against, and every single audience that saw it howled. And I thought, I am so wrong.
I love that from the beginning.
Now this is all
Eddie
sequence.
Yeah, Eddie Rosas laid that out, and you and I,
sure
and he worked a lot on this.
animated a good deal of it.
He did. I really wanted him to do that to the top of his hair. I forgot to get a sound effect for as he dragged his finger across his hair.
Well, this is such a huge, amazing sequence, but I love the subtleties of dimension that were added for the big screen. You know, things are moving all the time more realistically.
Well, we actually did this twice because we've actually had generics, and then we went back and said, let's put some real people in here.
Put some people in, and you know, a lot of people worked on a lot of these shots. Herman and Eddie, who I've mentioned before.
Well, a lot of these gags, I just want to
Herman did
mention,
this one.
Martin came up with most of these little gags here of how he's being covered up until
and I
the big
love
reveal.
that you think it's just the Austin Powers joke, you know, that how will they cover the privates, but it's like,
and then they just
here it is.
Yeah, I really wanted to have that long bit where there's a board in front of him, and then you just have the reverse image.
Fantastic.
A nice computer shot there.
By the way, even though we all work on these things and sort of the mechanics day after day, we love this stuff. We see it again and again.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a very early Eric Tran composition that he had done as like a proof of concept drawing.
Yeah,
and
really there it is. You know,
and that was done
I gotta say,
March.
it's so weird because I can remember looking at those early sketches, and now here it is up on the screen.
It's amazing.
And
this sequence,
it's just as good.
Steve, you got to tell you, this went through so many iterations, right?
This one was hard to get because deceptively simple staging, like the kind of thing we do on the show all the time. But, it just changed a lot because of the emotional temperature of Homer. At one point, Homer was really obnoxious, and we were trying to pull back from that. And
this was actually helped. We had a rewrite session, and then I forgot who suggested that Homer drove up, and I said, that takes care of a lot of things, because they used to have that Nelson had to get out of the way, and Homer walked up to the cops, and it was clunky, and all the shoe leather.
A lot of just...
And it's just like he pulls up, and the cops are there. Next to it.
He pulls up. What's the problem, officer?
What seems to be the problem.
Let's just get to the next thing.
It's my naked son.
Let's get to the next part of the movie.
We don't have any exits or entrances of crowds, and it's like, let's do it. It's dull watching people walk away. Well, we have to get them out of the scene. I know.
And we were undecided for a while about whether it would be dusk and whether we wanted to show time passing or whether it would be daytime.
So we had
Flanders spends a long time.
He's a long time at Krusty Burger.
He eats slowly.
Choose
Count
his
your
food
chews,
carefully.
kids.
He don't want to choke on it.
32 chews.
This was another great scene to try to get right. We worked hard on the timing.
Yeah, I probably so many people worked on these shots because sometimes Eddie would work on one and then Eddie would go over, be assigned to something else and he wouldn't be available, so I'd have to have Herman do it or Chris. So it really was a team effort. On a lot of these
all
shots.
those artists are longtime Simpson veteran experts who
Yeah.
can draw everything.
How would
anything.
you guys say that it was different working on this than the TV show?
Well, In my
in every way.
In every way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really like part of it was that just the script on the TV shows, you get the script and you just do an animatic of the script,
Right.
and then you have changes. This was changing constantly. So as
It's
you're working
always
on
fluid.
it, always fluid, always
Always
a
in
movie can be
motion.
anything, and you
Yeah.
know, I mean, you have to challenge yourself if you're always doing the best thing, and you don't.
yeah. And
Just
the
have to
pressure was
mention Chris
on.
Clements did some superb
Great.
animation.
And then there was
on the-
actually another bit of animation that I thought was also funny with them doing a skip type dance.
I think that there's something about like doing the show that you get to a moment with an episode that you're directing that you kind of go into your private little world, you know, and kind of make it into your own little
Your own
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
you know,
you're more
but-
the architect of the
and-
whole storytelling.
Yeah, whereas
at
this,
least
you
briefly.
kind of, you know, David, as a director, was great that he gave us a lot of latitude. You know, he's very hands off, and we would kind of go into that little world, but then you'd kind of come out of it, and then suddenly there's people in that little
Yeah.
world with you.
People in my
you know,
world.
and it's like,
Then I had to grab the
So-
world and shake it upside
yeah,
down.
you know,
Terribly
there's
sorry,
who are
guys,
you?
but-
You're in my world, you know. So it was so collaborative, you know. It was there's you know, working on the show, there's a point where you have to make your best decision right up front and kind of stick by it. But then, you know, you have to, like on this, you had to be kind of play loose enough that at a point you should, you know, listen to somebody else.
Yeah.
know,
You had to. If you sticking by it didn't do you any good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
If it just wasn't playing, you know, and you kept like, no, I think it would just go nowhere, you know.
Well, I think opening yourself up to that, it was also a new experience from the TV show where you're used
Right.
to dominating everything until you hand over the show. And in this case, you're working with David and getting it in the ballpark, and then he does his thing to it. And, you know,
Well,
And that's what I
well,
think
the-
makes it so cohesive, you know. That
Well, the way I felt about it when directing is I had approaches for all the big pieces, and I knew the big moments that I absolutely were essential for the storytelling and to go from sequence to sequence, and very keen on the transitions. And then I handed it to you guys to go into it and see what you discovered and what you brought to the table. And then I would work and, you know, this I like, or this I want to change, or this I didn't want to do. It was really, really great. I mean, like this was a good example, like doing this scene.
This was done by Matt Herbert, who relatively recent hire. He's only been on the series for a couple of years, so I call him the kid.
he is a kid.
He is a kid.
He was still in school.
But he
You
did a
plucked
great
him out of
job.
the-
wasn't even born when
Yeah, he
the
wasn't
Tracy
even
Ullman
born.
shorts
By
were
the way,
on.
I love the way this scene is painted by Dima.
Dima,
He
yeah.
did a beautiful job with
It's
It's
gorgeous.
just so wonderful.
Matt did this one too.
This is,
Coco
by the way,
scene.
one of the big sequences of the movie, even though it's a little thing of chocolate.
This gets a huge laugh that almost that surprises us always, and it's great. It looks beautiful. This animation is really great.
Except I tried to make one of these. It doesn't work.
I still stand by my theory that trees play a big part as a nature system throughout this movie. In every big turn, there's a tree
This was an
involved.
interesting thing too, because we cut from that wide shot to this one, and that's when I threw in that transition close up, because it really helped, you know, get from the one sequence to the other. This scene was written mainly to give a quiet moment with Lisa and Marge, and then sort of tie it with Homer. And in the room, it was expanded between it was either David Merkin and Mike Scully had pitched this idea of Spider Pig, and then Al Jeans pitched it. And I started singing this song based on experience I had as a kid when I saw a Ralph Wiggum-like kid walking around the grocery store going, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. It was like caught on this loop. And that sort of came in, so I was channeling that stupidity to try to think of lyrics for Homer.
And man, did they love it at the test audience in Tempe.
They went crazy. They went crazy.
nuts.
We want more
The
Spider
focus
Pig.
group afterwards, that's all they could talk about was
It's
Spider
one
Pig.
joke. It's one joke, and it's become its
That
own
the
entity.
guy running the focus group had to tell him, like, okay, can we not talk about Spidey Pig
Talk about
anymore?
Spider Pig.
We know that you all like Spidey Pig. Can we talk about something else you like from the movie?
Now, this was another one of those scenes that went through many iterations, and then we finally, Steve, you finally
We
nailed
finally
on
got
this.
it.
Yeah. There was, it
was
wasn't
just-
Bart banging the fish against the
Yeah, he was
boat.
banging the
It
fish
was
against
One was
it at
banging the
one
fish,
point.
and then
Yeah,
rather
a lot of different
cruelly.
jokes. You know, the cat lady always used to laugh. Drunk Barney, you can't go wrong with that.
I remember there was a sperm bank joke.
Oh, the
Yeah,
sperm bank
yeah.
joke. Sperm
And we'll
bank
let
joke
the
comes up.
viewers just imagine
And it's about to
Your
spill
own
a bunch, and then a bunch
punchline.
of furniture comes out. Get it? We faked you out. Well, it still made people
you thought it was
going
going to
to
be something dirty.
And Mike, this was your
this is,
irrational, an inconvenient, an inconvenient sequence.
I love this framing. You
It's
know,
beautiful,
it's just
isn't it? I
so
just love
nice
it.
and
The
pristine,
color
you know,
is
but
great.
it's
Well,
it's
I
so
want to mention
classic looking.
the scissor lift animation was done by Ben Sakai, and it was a CGI thing, and
It's
very
really
comedic.
funny.
Oh, it's great.
The last minute, we said, let's just put stuff in her hair. Just
Oh, yeah.
like we reshot it with that.
I always thought it was funny to have effects artists come into the room and say, I'm supposed to draw gas. I'm supposed to draw dirt in Lisa's hair. I'm supposed to draw... It's the weirdest job.
Get on it, buddy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Dirt?
Those effects people were great, though, and that was one of the,
Yeah, they were.
up the level
And still
of imagery in the Simpson movie that's different from the television show, where we usually do our own effects. And we had people like Mark Myers did that crazy stuff. And it's worth mentioning, too, that
Well,
Sylvia
Mark did the stuff
Pompey...
in the lake too.
Oh, yeah, he was great. But
And
Sylvia
our-
Pompey, one of my ace animators, did a lot of that Lisa performance in there and the Collins stuff.
Oh, really, really good
And
stuff.
she's a great animator. And
We had a nice bit of animation of Colin saying, listen to her or pay the price.
oh, yeah.
Very, very aggressive, but didn't make the final cut. And
This almost
I'm
didn't
so
make the
glad
final
this
cut.
stayed in.
This is
oh,
great.
man.
Folks
This-
at
this is
home, you don't
great.
know how close this was to being
Now, who
cut.
did the animation on
Oh, boy, I'm trying
Man,
to...
it
Tony,
is
it
so
you know what?
great.
It was
that dead body has such weight.
Mike...
Oh, Mike Swafford?
Mike
You really
Swafford,
feel
yeah.
the dead
Yeah, he
body.
did all
Oh, you
this.
just-
Yeah, really
you
good.
feel the
Really great.
cadaverness
I love the
of
way
it.
he sort of like does a little bow in front of him. It's just great little nuance. And Cletus is nice and stupid.
Love this.
What was great is we actually just took the animation and repeated it because we had that.
Oh, yeah,
We
they-
got back to it and then repeated the
Those are
animation.
the kind of notes you say. They say, have them do it twice. Oh, we
That's
don't
how
have time.
we saved money on this movie.
Yeah.
We saved about $100
And
million
our
doing
brains.
that.
you know.
Yes.
But you're not suffering in quality because sometimes it really is better just to repeat the animation
Yeah,
we've already
it's-
drawn.
This is one thing. This was actually boarded by Norm Abel on the first week that I was involved in
Wow,
the movie,
right?
and it stayed the same pretty
Wow.
much.
Yeah.
Well,
This-
this went through many incarnations.
But this is hilarious, especially when the pig turns back to the audience at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, I
Ralph-
love the fact how Homer falls off of the couch and gets kind of onto the same eye level as the pig.
Yeah,
you know?
It is
worked
convenient.
No,
His
it's just
expressions
really
on the pig
nice.
are great.
We just kept the pig
Well,
really
those are
stupid.
Ralph Sosa
Oh, I
all
got to
the way.
mention, too, this is one of the things when we first had it where we found the background to be so plain that we started doing with shadows and vignetting and so on.
Oh, right.
And adding even additional details because just
And I like how it doesn't call attention to
Right.
itself. It's
Yeah.
very subtle.
It's
you
subtle.
know,
Well, that's the testament
directs
to
the
Dima's
eye.
art
It's-
direction
yeah.
and color choices and this
really
stuff.
nice.
yeah.
And I know, David, this was a passion piece for you, this crazy monkey
we
stuff.
had
Yeah,
one
you
version
just
of the
had to have a
monkey.
monkey in it.
I had one monkey in there, and I said we got to redo it, and I sort of redesigned it, and then I think Bert Klein did the.
Bert Klein ended up working on it. Sylvia Pompey worked on this. Ralph Sosa did some of this. It's all these artists have certain tiny eccentricities to their art, and if you know them, you can see it. But yet, it all fuses together into one seamless expert.
Bert, this is Rich. Love you, man. Love you.
I
Peace
think Matt
out,
actually
Bert.
did the story reel version of it.
Oh yeah,
This used to be him saying a line, screw that, and he took off until they wrote some motivation for Homer because he was coming off too much like a
he
jerk.
was bad.
And he was just people were hating him because and so
I hate
that
him.
they
It
wrote
wasn't the
this-
joke that there was no line or there was one person ahead
Yeah,
of
there were
them.
like three
Right.
people in the line.
Right.
It wasn't that funny, and this, of course, this joke really is really great. And then actually, I misdirected you. I sort of started a little too gingerly, and then no, we got to stick the gun right in his mouth.
Oh yeah, that was. You
Come
resist
on.
that because you think, oh come on, they
How
aren't
else do
really
you eat
asking
donuts
that.
off a gun. You stick it
Exactly.
right
You
in
got
your
to stick it
mouth.
right in the mouth. That was a very cool shot. I like the fact that you're on the pig, like you're looking at his face as he looks blankly about the destruction he's about to cause.
And there were several versions of this that were all
Right.
kind of interesting in their own way too. You know,
We had Homer
We're-
saying this feels right, but again, it made him too mean. It was a funny line.
There was a
but made him
point
too-
where it didn't sink and
Didn't
he
sink.
jumped on top of
Oh
it.
yeah, he
instead
jumped on top of
stomping
it.
on it.
It did a
and-
Titanic kind of thing.
And the whole skull thing almost got cut because
Yeah.
they were worried that it wasn't that effective. I was saying, wait till it's animated, please.
And it used to end with Wiggum.
Right.
And-
Chief Wiggum coming down and
yeah,
sort of
coming in. What's going
not
on here?
noticing.
And then some They changed it from Wiggum to
This
A
was
security guard.
yeah, someone.
This was the
Never
last
seen
thing
before
animated on the
security.
movie like a week before it was released.
This was animated.
In-house by
We had to
Bert
clean it up
Klein,
here because-
Ralph Sosa, Orlando Gumete, Sylvia Pompey. They just cranked this baby out in like a week.
Look at that. You can see the 4 states that border Springfield: Ohio, Nevada, Maine, and Kentucky.
No, but there was like a ton of people just doing animation, like cleaning up overnight practically.
Yeah, in-house.
But
they would-
originally it was a deer licking it. And then
Oh,
we
that's
cut to
right.
this.
Right.
They reacted to a deer with 3 eyes, a raccoon with 8
It's a
eyes. and
series
then-
of different
yeah.
animals.
Then it was a
yeah.
rabbit at one point.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
it was
then
a
we changed it
rabbit
to
for
rabbit.
a couple weeks.
And then we stuck to one
And then
animal
he-
because it was like, we realized from the test screenings that people don't really care. They just sort of needed the story, whatever
Right.
pushed the story across. And
At one point, he got scared of his own reflection.
yes,
Remember
yes.
that, too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
All this
And
stuff is
originally, the
animated
EPA didn't
full
show
color,
up
by the
at
way.
the end of the scene. It just ended with Bart jabbing the eyes.
Right, and then you cut to the White House.
Well, here's Russ Cargill too. We
Yeah,
just kind of
I love
plop
those
him in there, you
portraits.
know, dynamic personality. Because we used to have all those sequences with him as a schlep at the EPA with Woodsy the Owl and all these crazy.
We used to have that scene where he was
His
we-
last day, he was gonna.
Oh, his last day
retired.
party.
There's a scene where it was at this big
Oh,
yeah,
that was the
HDC
original. Yeah.
yeah.
At a dinner party.
dinner party.
Oh, at the dinner party.
And he's at the last table.
Your last
the very
table,
back.
and it's like we're trying to make this point, and like nobody really cared about the point, and it was all this stuff, and nobody cared about his story really.
Right.
Well, that's what I love
like
about the
him
writers.
so
you know,
much
they're
better like
Yeah.
this. Is just a real
recognizing that and just
snappy-
streamline it and get to the point of the joke.
Yeah,
Get the setup done. Go for the joke.
yeah, and get to what people are. There's only so many stories people can follow in the
Right.
film, and we already said enough. We set like 4 stories of motion with the family, and that was plenty.
Well, and he kind of represents something that people, I think, could get
Right.
quicker. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. This is a guy you can really
you understand
figure out.
the story.
Yeah. And we originally thought we would go back to Hank Scorpio.
Oh, that's right. That was a
Yeah,
week.
there
Yeah,
was
for
for
about-
about 2
it was-
days.
Two
It was a
days.
frantic-
Hank Scorpio.
Those
Frantic
are
few
Scorpio
days.
days.
And happily cooler heads prevailed. One of them being actually Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
I think Brooks.
He was the one I think that decided maybe
no,
it's not such a good idea.
It's not a good idea, and
He was
him,
right.
Him being a accomplished filmmaker himself.
This was another joke that seemed
Almost
to
didn't,
require a big
but
performance to.
that worked out really well. We
Yeah.
had many jokes in here, my friends.
Oh yeah.
many jokes.
You'll probably see those
Mike,
at
you
one
had to
point.
do a
Scared
lot
by
of
the dome.
They were
Yeah.
vignettes of
Yeah.
people being affected by the dome, and they were all hilarious. But you know, there was too many of them, or they liked one better than the other. And I like the ones they end up choosing because it really, this situation is really conveyed well and
I'm
funny.
very glad that people don't seem to mind that the Springfield is quite circular. Just-
Yeah,
By the way, this
perfectly.
looks just like the animator that animated Eric Koenig.
oh, it does look like Aaron. Yes,
That happens sometimes.
and he's sort of flat. Like
yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
he died under a
He died under a
steamroller.
dome.
Very ironic.
Yeah,
but
it's sad.
Yeah. A blimp landed on.
You know,
him.
even though the dome plays such a giant part in this plot, if you recall, for half the movie, we never had a dome. Nobody knew what it really looked like.
We
Yeah.
didn't
It was a
know.
grid.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did it have?
Right.
Was it separate panels that make
Right.
up this giant thing? You know.
I really love what they ended up with.
Now, there's
Yeah, it
very
looks very
interesting thing.
good.
If you look off to the side, you'll notice that Springfield Stadium is cut in half, and that's because there was a joke later
Right, half a
baseball
baseball
game.
game.
about the baseball game, and I didn't intend for them to be, the continuity, but I guess somebody said, "Oh, we got to do this because otherwise it will be the continuity will be off."
Yeah,
People will be
everyone will-
questioning. You've got to show that the
that the baseball stadium.
Well, you know that Gerald Ray did that amazing background,
Oh,
and Trevor
great.
Johnson, these guys.
And that's the thing is, at the time I was like, "Oh, well, we don't need." Forget it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Forget it.
It became more and more like that towards the end. They realized it doesn't matter.
It's
People
now
are
a
focused
little,
on the
Oh,
joke.
that's a little thing you can put in a little bit of trivia for you.
Yes. There'll be lots of trivia.
Oh, this sequence actually worked quite well. I mean, this was almost went unscathed. These jokes here.
Yeah, well, I think you drew that drill, the version that ended up being in the movie.
the acid firing drill.
I have one at home. Actually. I just kind of
I've
cribbed
had
it from
some
that.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes. But this, of course, we had the older version of Cargill.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did this twice with two different guys.
Yeah. But we
And
I
you know,
like
there's
this one
sentiment
better.
for the old Cargill. But
And I recall,
We like
David, we
this
had a whole long session where we animated him flat and then went in with you and you skewed him to fit the dome,
Right.
shot by shot,
Yeah,
whatever
all
looked the
these-
best.
All these shots with him on the dome were he was animated as a
Flat.
separate
Yeah.
element, and then just kind of in
I was-
Photoshop kind of.
I was looking at a lot of
corner
those, like
pinned.
the old the 1984 that came out in 1984, and anything with a big screen of somebody like trying to get him really to dominate the crowd, get that very head of God floating up there.
And I love the super science of just a screen that can be, built into the glass,
and it can show up just anywhere.
Yeah, it's great.
And this was, of course, about 6 or 7 ideas before we
Oh
got
my
to
gosh, this was several fully animated sequences that were dumped in favor of
The
suddenly we
hockey-
get it in 1 second.
Yeah.
What was it, the hockey museum or something?
Some museum.
Oh, yeah,
a hockey museum.
A pancake shaped like Elvis.
Yeah, next exit, so everybody zooms past Springfield. Basically, it has a sign that like you would not want to go there, you'd want to go elsewhere, and
It never quite clicked.
And the guy stopped. He'd stop and
Maddening.
look at the sign and go, eh. That was a museum.
Well,
of
even
celibacy.
Trappuccino was dome trouble or some
Peasants
kind
under glass.
Peasants under
Peasants,
glass.
peasants under glass.
which I think I saw in a review. So, so those reviewers are pretty smart. They could.
They can
No, they can't write for the
see
show.
right past us.
Oh, we had this whole scene with Lisa.
Oh yeah. Well, this idea here too. This Stephen Reese did the board for this, and I really love the way the ball leads us to Maggie. And this, there was kids in the last audience I saw this movie with that gasped and went, "Oh my God, I get it."
Oh, and this was great. This Dome Depot.
That used to be the
because it
sequence
used to
with the
be
weatherman
farm
that said all the-
reporters
all
and
the
they
crops
were
are
happy
There's
to
no
die.
weather. The crops are dying.
This was great too because I think it was Jim Brooks who said it'd be great if Marge ran up to the window, was facing
Yeah.
it. Because before she just sort of stood there and said and gasped and then ran
Right,
away. But
right.
the animation of her coming up to it looked much better.
The
this is really
staging
funny.
This is a
throughout
Burt Klein scene.
this whole movie, with this gigantic piece of glass,
Well,
it's a hard thing to stage.
This was Al Jean's idea. He said he
Always
wanted to
well
put
done.
this dome right down the center so we really understand
Right.
in and out
And
of
it's
the dome.
very
And I
clear.
agree completely.
Yeah,
very, very
It's
clear.
very, very clear. But also, I love the texturing of the dome. That
It's beautiful.
Thema came up with this reflective glass. And
There were several meetings about the dome.
yeah,
What it would
yeah.
And I
look
like
like.
how you can kind of see seams in
Yep.
it, like behind Brockman.
Yep.
You can see like the light kind of reflecting
Yeah.
off of it.
That's a little John Crummell animation there.
Yeah.
on the-
That always cracked me up, just seeing
Yeah, a
the
lot
big
of
rat and-
there's a lot of 3D. There is 3D animation in the movie,
yeah.
and those guys really brought a lot to the movie,
No,
to the Simpsons.
I think both studios had
Yeah.
terrific CG
Yeah,
requirements.
absolutely. It really helped a great deal. And I feel it comes in and it doesn't take over the 2D aspect
No.
of it. It
Yeah.
just enhances
And it's
it.
designed to look,
Flat.
and behave like
Right.
Yeah.
like the show.
Again, a nice bit of. I love the colors here, the purple colors in the sequence and the vignetting of the shadow. And this shot was a little troublesome, wasn't
Yeah.
it, Steve? You had a little trouble.
I remember this is actually one of the first shots ever done on the movie, and probably the last thing I worked on when I was done.
Sort of covered everything. Because one of the things that we had is we had a problem with the mouths not being in sync.
Yeah.
'Cause we didn't have the. So you had to. Well, how many? We did like about 12 hero mouths at the end to try to fix up the faces.
Well, we tried to simplify it, but I think the result is there's a contract out for me in South Korea.
You're not allowed
I'm not allowed to
into
go.
either Koreas.
That's right. North Korea, you're welcome, actually.
Well, also
you
there
know
was
what?
about
We
10
have-
versions of that, right?
There's about 10 versions of it, and I'll just say the original version was comped out by my assistant director, Pete Gomez, who comped a lot of the shots.
Flash.
Kid Flash.
Flash.
Kid Flash
Yes.
Gomez. He comped a lot of these crowd shots out, and then was just a machine on this stuff and just did a great job. And Adam Klein in the forum department at Film
really
Roman
great.
was a big hero too and helped build the shot.
I like that Mr. Teeny is smiling after he gets back into Krusty's
He's
arms.
trying to.
He's not scared. He's
Well, this was-
smiling.
This, of course, we took right out of West Side Story.
Right.
The spotlighting of.
Really good.
And this was a late edition of a joke because we had another joke that was
With
not
the-
working at all.
Where
did
he
a
was
Night of
hitting
the
the
Living
hands
Dead.
with the
Yeah.
hammer and a little white flag.
And this
out.
came up, and this was. I just thought the reading was so hilarious, and just the way it was boarded,
Works
the way
really
it was
great.
animated. It was
And this
just
is
great,
where
Steve.
this is where Dan's acting just kind of like, okay, this
Yeah.
will be easy to animate. I
Yeah.
know what to do here.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But we had a lot of fun with that. We went over it quite a bit, but
Wasn't there a scene with Lovejoy
Yeah,
running
torch
into,
the baby's-
into Maggie's room and
Well,
Torch the
crib?
baby's
Yeah, torch the
crib,
baby's
yeah,
crib.
originally
And
Ned
that's
says,
why
well,
the
it's
house is on fire later.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people have wondered, why is the house on fire?
Oh, I
well,
figured
it was
if-
Lovejoy, folks.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, it's, my feeling is if a crowd with torches comes into your
Yeah.
home, maybe something will catch
Someone's
on
going
fire.
to
Someone's
drop
gonna
one. They always do.
Yeah, exactly.
happened in my
they're
house,
always
and
they're
oh
always
boy.
clumsy. Now
Just
this-
that barbecue shot, Eric Tran, I
Yeah.
think, did the original storyboards for it, and we just
Yeah.
pretty much blew up his boards and animated.
This is great. This was done by John Hooper. Did the boards for this. And we
Hoops.
And Hoops is a Hoops
He's an
became an
excellent-
American citizen, by the way, in the
Yes.
course of this
Welcome
film.
to America, Hoops.
Yep.
Excellent animator, great storyboard artist. Love working with John Hooper.
Now, did you enjoy doing all these crowds, Steve? Might I ask? You just got
well,
stuck
he
on the-
didn't have to do them. He made it. People
You know what?
do 'em.
I'm
don't know.
fine doing crowds. You know,
You had
they're
a lot of work on this.
you know
I
what?
love that shot.
Yeah.
Going around that
Gomez?
corner.
Yeah, with foreground
It's
heads.
Yep.
so,
It's really
so
dynamic.
nice.
You know,
Yeah.
the interesting thing about that shot too is that we originally built 3D models of it, and then kind of used those as a starting point, and then Pete basically animated the shot, and then we gave it back to the 3D to kind of finish off. So there was this kind of give and take to make it all look.
That's one of those shots that it could never be better than what it is. You
Yeah.
know,
It's great.
it's
really,
really,
great.
really good.
Well,
Herman Schraff did this one.
and a lot of great boarding in this. Steve Markowski came
Yeah.
in before.
Yeah.
he
Oh,
got-
it's.
came
I
in.
mean, this is a very complex idea of what's going on.
I love this
Yeah.
sequence.
and
This is
made
hard.
so simple visually. You
This
know.
was very hard for us to get right, and we had many sort of different versions of it. But actually, we pulled together very nicely.
Well, Mark Irvin did the original
Right.
pass on boards, and then Steve came in and really helped us finish it off and nailed it down.
Yeah.
It was a huge sequence.
And this is a shot that I thought later on would be better to do a shot more like that. Before it was sort of like a big wide lockdown shot with
Yeah.
the tree moving.
Well, and I love how Homer was in the foreground
Right.
when they jump out, and it's just.
Now this,
All
I
right.
really insisted that you got to have a slight hyperextension on the fingers. I just really sells it. And that
And this-
petulant look on his face, that angry.
This is one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. I guess I don't know,
in
man.
the
it is
theaters, people are
funny
just
every
like, "Oh, ow!"
That's a hope. I was hoping for that reaction.
I love and Wiggum's response is just to start shooting.
shooting,
Just
yeah.
start
I
shooting
know.
at it. You know?
We used to have him like calming the crowd down and then start shooting, but it just seemed funnier for him
Yeah,
to
I
start
just-
shooting.
just-
Just go
so
right to the
great.
shooting, and then we have another vortex going on with the doghouse.
Now, this was important. I felt that the shots of the houses before would always be that same basic angle. So when it goes into the ground, you still are feeling that, you know.
And who did that shot? That was amazing. I remember it took a long time to really
this,
get it
this
right.
shot here?
Yeah, the house going down. And
This with just between the computer
There's a
people
lot of
and
people.
Steve
I think
Markowski
that
kind of
we
pulled it
kinda-
together using it.
The
in-
two studios kind of shared it. It was. I know we did a version of it. Eric Whited did a version.
the version
of,
of no, just that last shot was Steve Markowski pulling
pulling
away
through the
from the
dome.
vortex.
pulling away
right.
with the
Beautiful.
vortex.
which that's the
using
only
it.
time you do that. in
Good
the whole
job,
movie.
Steve.
Yeah, and because Scott did one of the shots, the down shot of it was based on what was done at Film Roman, and the down shot was done at Rough Draft. Really
Yeah, the
beautiful.
one with the tile. That
The
was
tiles
Chris
getting off.
Stover who did with the porch kind of pulling away.
Yeah, this shot came out great, and this was such a great idea. Just whammo, off screen.
Everybody loves to see Lisa
Yeah.
punch Bart.
Yeah, and when you do a punch, guys, you just got to punch them off screen right away.
Yeah,
It's like
get it over.
really fast, as few in
that's-
betweens as possible. Get them down.
And don't show no contact. You know, just
Yeah.
Just pass that fist right
Yeah.
by their face and snap their head to the side.
This is such a nice looking shot, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
Great.
love the way
it's
the
good.
corners here.
and there used to be a joke there, but
Just
with the
never played.
cornfield, but
Yeah.
it's just such a great shot on its own
Yep.
that it just gets across they're escaping.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not a time for that joke. It's a time to
Yeah.
get to this guy in the story.
Well, there
But
was a
this
lot
was
of
a-
stuff like that just the movie would slow down, and it's like,
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
keep going, guys.
And only
Yes,
that you
we
have
know
this
that
great
Homer
joke.
likes to eat corn.
Yeah.
Well, we already have this great joke coming out.
Right.
And it's like you don't need anything to sort of tee it up.
So,
It
yeah.
still works great.
This moment here was the first piece of test animation on the whole movie.
That's true.
When Bert had
Yeah.
done it.
Klein,
did.
Bert Klein did the original.
yeah, on the original
the
card,
original
game,
card
on an
game.
older reading, and I'm just so glad it became this because
Yeah.
this is so
If you
much
ever
funnier.
try going
quicker.
mad without power? It's boring.
I like when it was Hank Scorpio at that one point.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you're giving me that look. I know that look. You think I've gone mad with power.
Oh, this sequence was the first scene that Brad Abelson and I started boarding out, and it's actually the opening is amazing to me because it is unscathed. It's the
Yeah,
same
it's pretty
as
much
it was,
stayed.
and all this is roughly the same. Actually, the chase is the same. This is all still the same. Back in I guess January of '06. It's amazing how much this stayed.
This is where Lauren kind of came in. This is
Right.
Lauren's sequence, and
I love the realism
it
of
just,
the whiskey
I mean,
bottle.
the whiskey
and this is
bottle.
a nice
it
piece
just-
of Bert Klein animation of I Miss Flanders. That's really great. But we had a thing with the earlier version. That's right. Lisa was in love with Milhouse, and he saw
Right.
Milhouse as a
Right.
reflection of sex. So that was changed. That was all changed.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That all
And,
happened in that one year, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
God. Can
yeah,
you believe it?
I know, it's amazing.
I
And
feel-
Lauren came in at this point really, and this is I thought it was a great idea that she had of pushing it on Homer as Marge is talking, and then doing that
And
funny
that
little
drawing
shrug.
is just says it all.
Yeah,
you
you
know.
think he's going to do the right thing, but
Yeah.
he's very
And
Homer.
Man, it's so good.
Yeah. They're really, really great. And this is just a nicely animated
That's-
scene. And it was important to me, I really felt you got to keep his glance down because he's sincere. If he looked
Right.
up at her, you wouldn't
Right.
get the sincerity of that.
That's one of those things, people say like the animation in The Simpsons is crude. It's, it's not that good. But that one drawing, got across
That's right.
everything.
Yep,
you know,
that's it,
it's-
man.
It
Funny
he didn't have
drawings
to
or
say
emotional
anything,
drawings.
and it says
yeah.
there's as much acting in that one drawing as there is in a Disney,
That's-
scene.
Well, the animation isn't crude and isn't limited. It's different. It's a
Right.
different
It's a
style.
different style.
The style of the animation on The Simpsons, to me, it's observed human behavior, which actually has more stillness than movement than you see in your
Yeah,
average
it's
not-
about
animation.
withholding movement.
It's,
Yeah, I
it's
think
not
it's
vaudeville.
distilled
It's
down
not,
to the essence of
Right.
what's needed to tell the joke and the emotion.
But
It's
you hit it,
animation
Steve.
without the conventions and cliches of animation acting
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah, look at all the acting here. It's all more observed. This is a great bit here of Homer looking at everybody.
Actually,
I
the
just love that.
expression Lauren uses is default animation acting, which I always thought was a great way to describe it.
But look at Homer's pose there. I mean, you get the
Yeah.
you
It
understand
Well,
his thought by the pose.
that was a shot I really want to get in there. I talked to Lauren. I said I want to get a master shot that sort of shows the state of the family.
Yeah.
And I got some resistance at the beginning from some of the producers, but they eventually went for it. And I really thought you needed that emotional moment. Like,
That they're fractured.
yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
Everybody is separate, and they don't know what to do. And they pull together, and then this is really hilarious animation here.
I thought
Yeah,
Nancy's
just love this.
Nancy's voice is really great here, and
Great
Lauren did some
reading,
great
and
acting on
the,
Bart.
the animation is great. And this is sort of based on Bogart in Casablanca.
Everyone always laughs at that.
This is standing there like,
Bread
all the
rations that she had to walk into.
And I remember you struggled over this shot quite
this
a bit.
shot
This
was
one
a
changed
struggle,
a
but this
lot.
came together really well,
really
and
like
really
it.
beautifully. And actually, this wasn't a your sequence, Rich, and we used pieces of the animation
yeah.
to
for
put
that
this.
transition
Yeah.
because they had many different
Yeah.
ways of getting into this.
It was a
Yeah.
last minute. We had to pull this together, and
This was-
fortunately, the animation you had was great.
This
It
is
was
like the
able
last
to
well,
two
this
weeks.
was I worked on this with Raymond Percy, and same situation as Mike and Steve, where there's just so much on your plate that there were other people to help out. Thank God. And Raymond just kind of took this. We boarded it together, and he did such a great job with it. Really difficult angles, really difficult ideas to kind of get
Yeah.
across.
Yeah, this is great.
This is
I
really
love
great.
actually the way Homer reacts. The velocity he pulls
Yeah.
his head
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice detail.
That was one of those last minute things where it's like, put in a little kick to it.
Every
where-
time I see this shot, Rich, I just go nuts. I just, it's so much fun, so much
Yeah.
energy, and it's
This is a
really
great
well
shot.
done.
That's a
this
great
is
shot.
this
That's a
is
great
one
shot.
that you see you board it and you think, how the hell am I going to do this? What have I
Yeah.
gotten myself into?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it was I believe Colin Heck who boarded this, and And then
Oh,
when
yeah.
you see it finished,
That's right. 'Cause Colin and I worked on the board in the
Yeah.
trailer area.
and then you slave and slave and
Yeah.
slave, and then it comes back and it's like, wow, it worked. I added a dart in the ceiling.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Matt
This
as
is
a
so
little-
good.
as
Because
a
we had
little
quite a few different
observational
versions
this is
of
detail.
really great, and I love.
I love this acting
I love
too.
the
This was
spinning
my
chairs.
first time like working with Mo in over like
Yeah.
15 or 14 years, And, it was- and you know what? He
Really
hasn't
great.
changed.
He hasn't
He's really
changed.
so
He's
easy
all
to
the same.
direct.
And this was a great sequence.
This was a great sequence, yeah.
That you worked on with Wes and I. And
Who did-
You mean
who-
Martin?
I'm sorry, with Martin. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
when Martin
Sorry.
Archer boarded the whole
Yeah.
thing, and Sylvia Pompey rushed
Yeah.
in there and did a lot of the character pieces inside, and
Yeah.
the
And
snow.
I took the. I mean, I was just looking at the script, and I just did this quick drawing of the characters, and I just
Oh, yeah.
doodled on them. Said, well, what could Bart do? How would you doodle on it, and how would you get the characters to look like different? So, but this worked really
I
well.
love that it's the wise guy voice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but just a totally different looking
Oh, and
guy.
we said, I told Martin, I said, make him a cross between the wise guy and Steve Buscemi.
Well, that's totally off one of your little doodles on a
He's-
post-it,
he's
David.
Right. And
really funny.
but this gets such a big laugh. I'm so happy. It's just like
It's such a dumb joke, but it's so
It really
funny.
works.
It just reminds
I
me
mean,
of
it just
something we've
kills
done on
me.
the show forever. There's
It's
something
so-
very
it's-
timeless
it's
about it as a
classic
classic Simpson
yeah,
thing.
it's
know.
really great. Oh, by the way, again, having the effects guys doing like great snow effects, it just made it
Yeah.
so much easier.
No, it
for
added
us.
it really bumped it up a notch.
Now this was great, Rich, because you and I were talking about this. You were saying it was kind of like
This is my homage to
To-
Jonathan Demme.
Yeah.
And it used to be a little bit longer, but
Right.
I wanted to use those kind of head-on shots,
Straight
during
on.
the conversation.
and we don't
with
normally do this in
Burns
The
and,
Simpsons.
the three of yeah.
Because our head-on shots, this animation was great on Burns, and it really worked
So
well.
yeah, we kind of get into these. It was like, how can we make this different? We got all these over the shoulders. We've got all these kind of 3/4 and close-ups.
Yeah.
I just like them looking straight. It's like let's just Jonathan Demme this thing, and have him play right to camera.
Exactly. And I love the fact that we had him moving, but we just said, let's just lock him down. Let's
Yeah.
not have Burns move at all. you know?
Right. He
Why not?
used to put the quill back into the fountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this shot.
Oh, that's beautiful too. I just love the
Beautiful,
foreground stuff.
it's,
in there. It looks great.
We had several versions of Alaska, but this one just seems like it's really Alaska, and it's a little disappointing, but it's real and beautiful to look at. But
And Raymond Percy again
Yeah.
worked on this section.
Yeah.
It's over pretty quickly.
It's a very fast sequence.
it's a
It used to
really-
be much
yeah.
longer, and there used to be a song, there used to be a bar, there used to be a
Right,
whole
that's
different
right.
story.
They
Yeah.
used to go through a nasty-looking neighborhood.
Yeah, but that's how it is. When you go through these films, you think you need this material, and you think the audience needs this information. You show it to them, and they're either bored or they're not laughing, and
Yeah.
you realize you can do a shortcut, and you get the same amount of material.
Yeah, it
Yes,
really makes
they
me-
get it.
the pace emerges in the editing and somewhat too, and those test screenings really
Yeah.
did illuminate a lot of material.
And what really helped it, I got to say, it's just there's some really great animation that Lauren did of Homer hugging the guy at the toll booth.
Yeah.
It just really helps sell it. And
This is one of those things that when I read it in the script, I thought, wow, this is going to be tough. And
I thought it was going to be great.
Lauren just dove right into
Yeah.
this with Tony
Well-
DeRosa, I think, did most of the animation
Yeah.
on Homer.
yeah,
And
the
Mark
effects
Lund
stuff is
headed up
great.
our
Oh, what's great is the way
effects animation department.
what's
and
great
it's
is the
just
way
gorgeous.
it's staggered. If you notice that the way the snow is staggered falling off Homer, it's
Yeah.
really, really great.
I mean, Dan is just a fantastic effects animator.
oh, and I really wanted
Mike
that.
Jones
I
also.
wanted Homer, on the bow of a ship being pushed by the avalanche. I boarded this with Lucas Gray, and it actually went very fast. We were able to board it very quickly, and Lauren and the company did a great job with it. And then Lauren, I think, handed this off to John Pomeroy.
John Pomeroy,
Yeah.
he animated all the animals in this sequence,
And John, of
John
course-
being a veteran,
Absolutely.
Disney animator,
Bluth
worked
animator.
for Bluth for a long time,
Yeah.
knew exactly what to do. We set up a little unit just for John with cleanup artists
Yep.
and in-betweeners to get this to look just right.
Yeah,
you know,
we
and
wanted to make sure
the tone of it. Lauren just nailed it. you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. We wanted to have it cleaned up here just to make sure the cleanup line was exact and also different.
Yeah,
You just have a different feel
it's
to
a
it.
whole different style.
Yeah,
It's subtle, but they all have the Simpson overbite.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
there.
Yep,
They-
it's
They
there.
are Simpsonized.
you can't
yeah.
sue us. Sorry, guys. They're our own designs.
And,
And
this
also-
is just classic. I
never get tired of
I
that.
thought they were just going to go to sleep.
We didn't realize we were going to do that.
I love how surly the people in the background are. You know, that they're
Yeah.
not running around rioting, but they just they
they
just
could.
look,
Just about
they
to
look
do
like
that.
they're right on the brink. You
Yeah,
know?
one of the last things we had to, because this was left from what we talked about in the commentary, how there was all these other riot scenes.
Yeah.
But one last thing we had to do is that, oh, wait a minute, all the windows were broken because they were from the
Right,
previous
right.
riot scenes. So we had to fix the windows at the last minute.
Hey, I thought Moe's was next door to the church.
Well, think again.
They moved the church.
They moved it. And when the dome came down, they had to move it.
I like how
They've
Dredrick puts on
had
his
nothing to
boxing
do
outfit.
for a long time.
Those were all great bits, and I know they did them at the last minute.
There was a
like-
dozen other great bits too. These
Yeah.
are the ones they chose. They're all good.
And
but I
actually, we
love
had to
them.
rearrange them because the pie thing used to be the other one, and the tree was in.
Oh, yeah,
so that
this
was
pie
in the,
thing.
Yeah.
Which it was widescreen. We had to crunch it up.
Stampy.
Good to have Stampy back there.
And many people worked on the sequence, but Steve Markowski ended up taking it over and just doing a spectacular job on
But
it.
this
Yeah.
in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
This-
I
this-
love this.
This was
is-
started
this is
by
brilliant.
you, and then Nancy Cruz worked on
Yeah.
it. And
I
then-
love how it used to be that Schwarzenegger used to drive the scenes.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
But I
right.
love how
Yeah.
now he hates his job, and this guy is just kind of
Yeah, the writing really
pushing him into
jumped.
whatever he wants.
And the
you know?
recall on the 5 choices was
Right.
brilliant. And
It's
Yeah.
good.
this
It was
numbers
good to have
gag,
that again.
we knew it when we heard it because this had about 4 or 5 different versions. And when this came in, we said, "This is it. This
Yeah.
rocks."
Yeah, this is the way to go. And they had a bit where you had like this box that's sort of like, this mysterious box. the
Right.
answers
Oh
are
yeah,
here.
and that was
Right.
so
It's
well
like-
done
Yeah,
too.
that was
but
The
beautifully
answer
done,
to the,
but-
what we're going to do is in here, Clinton didn't open it.
Well, now it's in
Yeah,
here.
but this works so much
Yeah.
better.
So,
and
I love
and
this.
it's just very funny.
Yeah. Again, it's the last minute. You never know what's going to happen. That's why I never lost confidence with all the rewriting because I knew at the end there was going to be something that was going to pull
Well,
it
after
together.
18 years on the show,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
they,
We've seen
real-
it happen time and time again.
time again.
I kept evoking that trust word because writers have been doing it a long time.
and we've
James
kind of
Brooks.
done our thing for a long time. So
Yep.
it's like there's equal trust, between
Yeah.
the writers and directors. So
Yeah,
Well,
it was
and-
always going to come together. There was never any doubt in my mind.
there were some dog days,
Oh, it wasn't easy.
where it was a
Now,
blood
folks, I don't want you to think it
cyclone,
wasn't. It wasn't. We weren't all having a
It
great
was a
time.
challenge, and it's nice to see that this blood cyclone congealed into a nice
We draw.
strawberry parfait.
We
you
draw,
know.
but it is a job.
Yes.
But it's just hard to get things simple. They start out complicated, and you got to work towards simplicity.
Well, also,
and it's not always.
Well, this sequence too that Lauren did. This actually half of this is basically the same. Like
Yeah.
these scenes with this whole sequence is all the same until about this point here, and then it changed quite a few
Right.
times. There was a line by Lisa at the last minute. We kind of repositioned everything to
but it
patch
works much
together.
better this way.
Yeah, it's just more streamlined.
As I remember, Homer jumped out the window trying to get away from them because
Yes.
they were kind of attacking him.
Yeah.
And
It tonally it just seemed wrong. It just didn't
that
play.
he needed to have the last word and
Yeah.
walk out in a huff. You
Yeah.
know, it just had that was a great turn.
Yeah.
And
this, of course, was very carefully planned that we'd have the same composition for both Homer
Same
and Marge.
setup.
Right.
Same setups. And later I put on a bit of a move on it to start in tight and move out, just to sort of make sure that it resonated. You remembered it.
plays very well.
Yeah. My favorite line.
That's one of my
it's a
favorite
great
lines.
Homer line.
It's so Homer.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of aggressiveness between the characters early on, and it was
Yeah.
distilling a lot of that out and getting it back to
Well, and it was nice how they all kind of enjoyed Alaska.
Oh, and speaking of another homage, I don't mean to interrupt, but of course we had to make an homage to Happy Feet because it's our favorite movie.
There it is.
The proper homage.
There
yes.
it goes.
And that was John Crummel's and animation, and Bert Klein ended up doing a little dance and based on David. I believe you performed it, David. I have lots of video of you doing
Could
acting.
you do that again?
Would you like to see it, everybody?
Please.
Wow!
You're hot, man.
This is great.
Seriously, he's doing it right now.
But don't shoot me. This is really great.
Yeah.
These are really some great compositions.
Well, you know,
very stark and
The thing with the
opening the
videotape
door
when he
and it getting
watches
kind of more light and
Yeah.
it's
online, they treat
Lauren
this like one
really-
of the biggest scenes of the movie. Yeah, the emotional content of this resonated so well with viewers that
I remember in an early meeting when we were showing Al and Jim and Matt storyboards that Jim was looking through this section
Yeah.
that Lauren had boarded
yeah.
and was just like, wow.
yeah.
Well, I think that was kind of a
Wow.
tough day, and then this
Wow.
brought him
Yeah.
back to earth
That
because
was
he was
really,
so
really
in
a
And I
great
love
day.
with the,
you know,
the
he's like,
moods
we
and tones of
really
this.
got something here.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
this
it's-
sequence
remember
here
that.
was really beautifully animated with Eddie Rosa and Bert Klein. Just really underplayed, and we worked very carefully. I kind of sat down with them and talked them through this, and
I love Julie's performance.
Yeah.
Julie
You know.
really shines here.
yeah,
It's
really
kind
this
of
was-
you've
there was
never
a
heard
lot of
Marge
takes.
like this before.
This is her best
Yeah.
performance in the movie. This is spectacular.
and it makes you feel like, wow, she means it this time, you know.
Yeah.
It does. It has so much sincerity in it.
Yeah, and it was a lot of takes to get her this, but it was really worth it. And it was a lot, and I kept telling the guys, you got to play the animation, really underplay it. It's just as little movement as possible, but the right movement to
Love
sell
the reflection in the
emotions.
TV screen.
And of course, any scene with this song rocks for me.
And how I remember Jim, it was that panel in particular
Yeah.
with Homer like a child
Yeah.
kind of curled up looking at the screen. That he
it was something
just
that
like,
Lauren and I talked about when we were going over the
Wow.
boards. I told Lauren, I want a picture of Homer sitting down like a little kid watching TV,
Right.
as innocent as possible. And this is a great shot. There was a more elaborate shot that we tried, and it was very, very nicely done, but it just...
It was very active.
It was too active. You
Yeah.
undercut the emotion a bit.
And this is
Oh, we're done.
at one point we had
Okay.
act breaks for the
yes,
movie.
Yes, we had another act
at
break
the end of
earlier.
Dome and here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember the test audience, people screaming at it. Oh, come on!
People were very
You
upset,
know.
but I'm glad people laughed in the theaters. They got
This is one of my favorite
This is
jokes.
great. I have no idea why, but it's
You
incredible.
just hate, you hate foxes. That's
Yeah.
I have a
This
thing
was
about
actually
really
a
like
longer
polar bears.
scene.
yeah,
But
you like polar bears
Yeah.
and you don't like foxes.
this was a much longer scene in the original version. It was quite a bit longer, and I'm glad that they came. And this became really
I love
a
this
great
joke.
Yeah.
simple joke. Very, very funny.
He speaks for all of us.
Well, maybe you.
Three of us.
I've got a meeting later today.
I mean,
Well,
what a misfire that was.
we all love our
Yeah, we love
masters of
Mickey
Disney.
Mouse.
That was Steve Moore's sequence.
Yeah.
And that
This is
that
great.
used to have a much longer transition, flying up to a satellite. and
Right.
that's
all
right.
these
Bouncing back
jokes,
down
and
and
it just
it's
just
something
kinda
we've
laid
kind
there.
of
We had a
seen
lot of stuff
before,
like
You
that.
know, I think
There was so many voices. I really love this because this happened to me one time, and it was that you hang up. No, you. They hung up. What the heck was
They
that
hung up
about?
on you, huh? This was great. This had a lot of different ideas of how to end it, and then this.
I
Joke
love that
was
the
great.
animation on the guy is so realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. And this
And here's this.
this went through, man. Lauren and I went through so many versions of this because there were so many different versions of the Epiphany. It was just
Well,
it
there was
just
almost a point where
almost
it almost felt like maybe he didn't need an epiphany.
I know,
that-
and
that
I was
watching
very
that
much against
video
that idea.
was His epiphany.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was very much against that idea because I really wanted a interesting dream sequence in there, and I thought it was really good texture for the film, and so I was very adamant in the writing rooms to keep the Epiphany alive. And
The thing about the Epiphany too, artistically, Lauren had done so much amazing, spectacular stuff that was just so elegant and amazing.
Yeah.
But in the context of the whole film, I think what they ended up using really works for me, in terms of how much he needs to have that epiphany. And
And that was something. I mean, I think Raymond worked on
Oh,
that
yeah.
with her early on.
That's right.
Shannon
Yeah, that was an
O'Leary, you know.
earlier bit.
And Shannon.
But this worked really well. I thought that was a great transition.
Colin
I
Heck worked on this.
Yeah, Colin and I worked on these transitions, and the this is a kind of a little homage to Brazil, with the buildings popping out of the ground. And this seemed like a good way to put in the medicine woman out of the totem poles. It was
Right,
great to
yeah.
have the totem poles.
I loved
to
all the
make it
totem
mean
stuff, but
something,
that really
you know.
says it.
That shot was very cool. That transition
Yeah.
shot. Matt Fonin worked on that piece. Just that one little shot, but it's very effective. And this was a great idea because it was such a nice
Taking
surrealist
them
image to
apart.
have. Taking them apart and then melting in this sort of odd Salvador Dali way. It just...
I heard one audience, a kid went, "Ew."
I don't like seeing Homer melt.
Well, kid, you got to take that, you know.
Now, see what I said? Trees play a big part
Trees play a
in
big
this
part.
movie. They,
I'm never going to be able to look at this again without thinking about mostly the trees.
every major point in
I
the
don't
movie, there's
know.
a tree involved.
I don't know. I didn't see any trees in the NSA.
Someone had a little tree.
Oh, the little
on their
one.
desk, you know, very small. It's there.
This was great. There's a lot of people that worked on that
Very
really
collaborative.
complex shot.
Yeah.
Well, and
Very-
Dave Scarpetti ended up compositing it, and that was a pretty Herculean task.
And you know,
yeah,
the scene
just
planners
putting it
really
together was amazing.
Scene
made
planners
a
played a
huge
big
contribution
role
to
in
this
this.
movie.
Gina Bradley's
Gina
crew.
Bradley, Dave Scarpetti, Darren Drew. I'm just going to name them all now that I can remember.
Look at my Post-its.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all these post-its.
me-
We're gonna have this in an
Rick
insert.
Moser.
Yeah.
You can look at the posted on the extras.
This was great too. This had a lot of different incarnations, but
This was the best one.
big action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love how Lauren's staged. It's really great.
I like how he crosses down onto the tracks to
yeah.
say that.
I remember it originally was that they were going to go to Sacramento. to the
Sacramento.
Sacramento Bee
Yeah.
newspaper to
The
report
most trusted
it.
newspaper. And then it got bought by Knight Rider.
I love the way this worked out. This is just
And
all
this,
Mike,
we
you
talked
guys
about.
did a
this
great
is an
job
old-
on
this
this.
was
This
has
was an
been
early
in
on
from
thing
the
where when we
very
actually had time
beginning.
to do
I
all
remember
the
we talked
proper.
about this. Mike just said flat staging, flat procedure.
Well, that was
Really
you.
great.
Yeah, we had a separate versions of it, and
And I
it played
said,
best
nope.
that way.
Just play the same angle. Just,
That was Jeff Johnson and Ralph Sosa did a lot of that dog stuff. Jenny Moeller initially did some work on it too, and this
This is hilarious.
I've got video of David acting this out just exactly like this in his office with no snow.
with snow. Yeah, snow in the office.
We
Sorry,
spare
with
no
snow.
expense, folks.
I had snow, but you had gone.
But a lot of people worked on this, and I know Ralph went in and put the final polish on it, and I just love the acting, and that's very David
and Jeff
there.
Johnson
Well,
sort
and
of
David
covered
did that a
of
lot when I brought scene folders into his office.
Real mature.
Real mature. That was a good note from Matt to have them covered up and the eye opening up. I thought that worked very well. And this looked beautiful. I mean, I've never seen it in Aurora
Yeah.
Borealis, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it looks like that,
Yeah, I
especially
think,
with a big
you
blue
know,
lady.
This is one of the first things
I don't
Dave
need to see
Scarpetti-
one now.
Yeah. One of the
It'd
first things Dave
be
Scarpetti
disappointing
did was
if I
that
did.
Aurora Borealis, like
Oh, by the
very
way, here's
early
the
on in the
boob
movie.
shadow.
That was
now,
a
is that her
joke that
boobs
you
or
added.
her butt?
Well, you know, it's her boobs, and it used to lead
Let
to
the
an,
audience decide.
an array of
No, it was
sequences
a,
that all got
it was
cut.
a good joke that you put in there, Mike. I like that.
Well, for a week, everyone would sing, and I'm being followed by a boob shadow. Boob shadow, boob
Her
shadow.
cheeks.
And there's David's binocular joke, which
well, it was an early pitch I had, and it stayed in the
it
film.
was funny
Very
though
happy
because
about
when
it.
we were editing it with
Yeah,
Roger,
but-
Roger said the binoculars are missing. I said that's the joke. He said, but people won't get it. I said they'll get it. Believe me.
Well, I remember.
I still
remember
don't
in the
get it.
room
And he shook
you
his
were,
head.
you were saying, you know, maybe Homer hears. I remember everyone
Oh, yeah.
was saying,
No,
how
I
does he
said-
know that they're in there?
How does he know they're
I
in there?
said she hears
A-
the he
there
hears
was
the saxophone.
Yeah, and Steve said that, you know, maybe he hears Lisa playing her saxophone
Yeah.
inside the truck and turns around and says, Lisa, stop playing that saxophone, you know.
That scene there, all that crane stuff was a true collaboration between Rough Draft and Film Roman too.
That
because
was Chris Stover and
Yeah.
you
Mark
kind of started
Orm
something. You guys
and
took it
Eric
over, did an
Whited.
amazing
You
job.
know, they did a great job.
And this
this
I
is
felt had to be like the
Pure
Coyote.
Silverman.
Which just
The
had
Wile E. Coyote.
it's that right bit of timing.
The zesty
Man,
fork.
kids were howling at this at the screening I went to yesterday. Just
Well, people like good old fashioned.
Well, who wouldn't?
well, and also But even this got refined somewhat. I remember Homer used to look like he smashed, and David said, no, just make him completely flat. And it definitely hurt more that way.
Yeah.
I remember we liked that security guard
Yeah,
in our
look what we
screening.
We did. That was Sylvia Pompey did that.
I love it.
Great reading from
This
Hank.
is very funny.
Yeah.
We talked about
my
I
that.
wish we could
favorite
see
character.
more of that guy. Hey, you're going to scratch your shackles.
We're gonna have a show about him in
Yeah.
a few
We
years.
really want the shackles right on the right on the grate.
Mark Myers would come in every day and said, I have more gas for you. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and also these drawings. Thank you very much.
Well, and this had a few versions of it too, where
A lot of different versions.
Yep, yep. But
I like this.
I like the
remember
way
we
it worked
were,
out, and it turned into to this, going to your sequence, Rich.
remember at one point we were concerned about Lisa getting her saxophone out of Springfield.
This
Oh,
used
yeah,
to
there was a whole bunch of
begin
it.
with the entire town waking them up.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be everyone
Everybody in the town
approaching
waking
them and poking them with
right.
sticks. And now, but I think this plays so much better that it's,
We were getting
this
crowd
kind of-
fatigue at this point.
Yeah.
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 It's
No,
like,
this
that
this
it's
is so much better.
You get tired
derelict
of looking
city,
at everybody.
you know,
I
and
think
very
Al said that.
mysterious.
Al said,
I
"Yeah,
love
by the
Moe's costume with the
Well,
Oh,
it
yeah,
poses more questions too. Where are the people? I
Yeah.
mean, did something happened to them? It makes the story bigger by having less.
I love the animation on Mo as he comes up with a big shrug, Rich.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
It was Roy Camacho who did that. Excellent animated.
Love the off-screen.
In this
laugh.
shot
I
here.
love how he removes his cone when he
Hollis
says
Hurlbut.
Well, he's,
Yeah, he's,
On the
he's
emperor.
got to
Now to-
defer, you
I
know.
may be the emperor, but Cargill's running the thing.
He's a big cheese.
Yeah.
And there were more lines here, and it just worked out without
It was better just to get right to
Yeah.
what's going to happen
Yeah.
to him.
That's a
This is all-
beautiful
Because
shot.
Don Kim did that just really
them.
nice.
Really, really nice. Really nice. I love the way the crowd scatters, of course.
This is
Greg
great.
Vanzo animated that. right
Very
there.
nice, Greg. Always good. And yeah, there was just so many other things in there that you just didn't need. It was
You didn't
just-
really need 'em,
just- You think you need them, and the audience looks at it, and they're fine without it.
Well,
was
here
a
comes one of
lot
my
of,
other
like-
favorite lines.
There's some great stuff too, Rich. This is very funny. I love the way the guy looks down, kind of.
Kind
It's
of,
sort of
what do we got here? Bill Waldman that animated
Yeah.
this section.
I mean, he
And it used to be that he picked up a rock.
right,
Right.
Oh, that's right.
But then I told,
Just hit him.
I said to my assistant, Crystal Chesney Thompson, who helped out immensely through this thing, you know what? He should just hit him. You know? So,
This is
One
a
of my
scene
favorite
that,
jokes.
That's a great
This is
joke.
Bob Anderson.
yeah, Bob Andrew, God bless you, Bob, for
Yeah.
This is really
taking this
really
off
great.
my hands.
Well, we also have footage of Silverman acting this one out. Which
Yeah.
Well,
Almost as funny as
He
this.
wasn't acting now. The scene.
that's true because we had some super glue
Yeah, we
around.
walked
I didn't
in.
know it was super glue.
Yeah.
We
And,
walked into his scene and into his office. His
This was
back
great.
to
The
it.
pullout was great on that. That's a nice shot.
Well, I remember early on we had talked about shots where we wanted to see something going on in the dome.
Yep.
Homer climbing up and then
Right.
falling. And
well, this gets a family all together when they're discussing family. which I
Right,
thought
you
was
know,
really
and how
nice.
fragmented they are. Again.
This was a great pullout, and I'm glad we had an earlier version. I'm glad you didn't mind doing it again because this is so much cleaner. To
Yeah,
see, to see
it
the-
was a little fussier, you know.
No, but it was so. I was almost afraid to ask you to do it again. It was so nice. I was like, ugh.
And this went through so many incarnations
Yeah.
of
oh yeah.
how they got up to the rope and, you know, carrying this tower to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stairs. And
And again,
You
it's
know,
like,
and-
well, it's nice, but
David and I were looking at Mad World, you know, like for just kind of when the whole thing falls
Right,
apart.
right.
Or, you know, when Homer comes down the rope and it's like, well, it's just got to be chaos with the tower falling. And there is so much footage of just
we
like,
had so many different angles.
of
Yeah.
and again, you know, cleanest and simplest, you know, wins in the end.
And a very
that was a
last-
joke that we just came up on, or we came across
Yeah.
on the fly
Yeah.
with Brad Abelson of Barney. Kind of, you see
Catching
Homer falling to the ground,
Right.
you know, falling towards camera.
And then
Barney getting up and catching the bomb, thinking it's going to be Homer. and
Yeah,
he's
I thought that
catching
was a great little because we didn't really have any way to.
No, there
was
was
nothing.
there was no finish to it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that really helped finish that off. And then I remember too that we had we had the forget it.
we had
We had this thing,
there
and
was something.
it was
It was
stunning,
really funny.
and we worked hard on it, and we cut it out. That's what I remember. Like so many.
That can be said about so many things.
But see, that's the difference between a movie and the TV shows. On the movie,
Right.
you have time. It's like, well, it's a movie. You want to put as much in it as you can.
Oh,
And
sure.
It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't.
Well, there was a lot more to that. There were all these. Remember, Rich, we had all these jokes of Bart walking despondently, going past Patty and Selma.
Right.
Yeah. I love
This is
I
really
love
great.
the composition here of the empty church, just the
Yeah.
Flanders
The light
family. They're
beams.
all
Looks
by
beautiful.
themselves.
Yeah, and this was great too because originally I think
We
you
were
could
going to track with
him.
Bart,
Yeah.
and the background was going to recede
Yeah.
behind him, but it was shot like this in the animatic. And
And it-
David and I kind of looked at it and we're like, you know what?
Let's go with
It's
this.
better that way.
Yeah.
That he starts very small
Yeah.
down at the bottom,
Yeah.
and walks up.
And that that really illustrates the
My
director's job.
favorite.
Yeah.
Picking
This
the
is
right
my
shot.
favorite. I
This
mean,
is one of the greatest jokes in the movie.
This was great.
This is
And
based
another great
on
character.
Vincent D'Onofrio in Full Metal Jacket when he commits suicide. Just
The only
what
thing,
makes it so funny. It's just a machine doing something very human. It's got that feeling of
But you
panic and
got that
and just determination. If I don't do this now, I'm never gonna do it.
But you got that feeling of short circuit, that sort of
Yeah.
those movies of zit, zit, zit,
I told
bang.
the animators just make it very mechanical up until the point where it shoots itself. It should be reminiscent of a guy with a gun to his head,
Yeah.
and snap it.
I'm just glad the bomb disarming robot didn't take off like Spider Pig. So
Right.
you shot him. There's no way to reoccur him.
That'll be for the prequel.
The prequel. The
Oh,
Private
also,
Life of the
remember that
Robot.
whole thing with the motorcycle? We had the thing with Homer
Many
walking.
different things where he met a
Oh.
bum on the street,
Playing the violin
and he met Sideshow Bob on the
Right,
street.
right,
Sideshow
right.
Bob
Point,
once could-
Sideshow
yeah.
Bob.
That was, and I'm so glad all those things didn't make it because they were just sort of.
Well, this
long
ties
and-
more to story.
You're totally on board at this point.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
like,
really need
you
jokes
don't
outside
need
of the
another-
family.
Let's
You don't
introduce
need to
another
introduce
character.
another character like the grief counselor.
Right. Yeah.
The third act doesn't need another character. You need to kind of build on what's been established.
And
What
you-
I love about the Flanders relationship with Bart is that Flanders knows that Bart should be with Homer.
Right.
He's not actively
Right.
trying to keep Bart with him.
Yeah.
And I love Flanders when he's like that.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he really knows
He's
what the
doing the
best
right
thing
thing.
is.
Yeah.
And
And you
he's
notice the way
trying to get them together.
we know the way we compose it too. We're already setting up Bart separate from the family.
He's
Yeah.
drifting away
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah. And then you have Flanders
This is
smiling.
great.
He's like
And
the
here
smiling
comes
at them.
another favorite
And,
line.
and this gets such a big laugh. And I remember asking Richard Sakai, why do you think that gets such a big laugh? And he's like, you know why? It's because Flanders earned it. He's earned it.
That's it. Yep. Yep.
That
Talk
was
about
some
somebody who's
beautiful
earned it.
CG. He's earned this too. Eric Lyden did that great reservoir shot with Homer.
yeah, this
I love this
motorcycle
shot.
stuff,
This
man.
shot
This
is
is
fantastic.
big
This was-
movie action.
I said to Chris Stover, who did that, it's got to show how big it is. That this is a big dome. It should be all about scale.
Yep.
It was hard finding reference for people doing this too, I'll bet.
Well, the internet, there's a
Went
lot
out
of
shot in the
stuff.
parking lot.
But
a
I
lot of big
remember when
domes
I
out
read
there.
this in
Yeah.
the script, I was like, how the hell, And it was like, I've got to do this. It's just crazy. It's just so crazy. I really want to shot
I was
at
so
this,
glad when you
know.
said I want to do the
Yeah.
motorcycle.
Well, I love
Yeah.
this
dome."
because this started from
And
John Rice with
John
the hair.
Rice and I boarded a lot of this, and
Then I came up
know,
with this crazy idea with the hair.
hair,
and it's just-
and
It's really
John
funny.
just came up with some terrific angles.
yeah.
Well, and John came up with a lot of stuff early in the movie too, because he was
This
one
was
of the first
done-
people came on.
We boarded this, Rich. I remember we worked on this around like May of
Oh.
2006, and it stayed roughly the same. the
Pretty
whole way
much
through.
exactly the
Yeah,
same.
we didn't
you
change
know,
much
it's
of
like,
anything on this.
I think that I feel
The
good that
audience
we
goes
kind
crazy.
of really nailed the climax
Yeah.
of the movie, and
Kinda
it was a
nailed it
relief
early.
to the producers and writers
Yeah.
that okay, we've got.
Oh, and this was something that, Rich, you mentioned early on. Would it be great if we ended up on Springfield Gorge.
Like, how do they
Right.
get down?
Yeah.
And I kind of pitched
And I
early, like,
kind of
maybe
said, let's
they
wait on
go,
this.
Yeah, maybe
Let's
they
just-
go down that ramp
yeah.
on the gorge.
And I thought it was a good idea. I said, let's just wait on this. And then
Cut to a year later.
we were sitting in the parking lot, and we said it'd be great if you go off the sign, off the power plant, and then down the gorge.
And this time they make it across.
Yeah, they
you
make it
know.
across. And then, and I wanted to have that little drift in there. I just like the
Yeah.
But then in the writers' room, it came down that they don't make it, and then
Right.
the slingshot comes out. This just looked fantastic.
This was
amazing.
done like in a weekend.
Yeah.
You know, when I got the
Yeah.
pages for this, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You know, and again, John Rice and I kind of banged out a
Yeah.
board,
and it was great.
and we started to animate it, and I was like, my God, they were right again. These writers,
right
you
again.
know?
And that shot was just, these shots were the same for the longest time.
Yeah.
And they almost
And I got to
changed.
mention the ambulance. When we talked about, jumping the gorge,
Yeah.
I asked David, like, what do you think? Should I put the ambulance still crashing in the
I said,
tree? He's like,
it's a possibility.
If you like,
It's a
go
possibility.
ahead. And then it was in one of the first trailers, and there was so much chatter, like on
Yeah.
the fan sites, about, oh my God, the ambulance is there.
love
you
that.
know? And I was like, well, I think I did it right.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
thought it was a good idea.
I made the right choice. I love this scene.
This
I'm a
is
That
sucker
ambulance
for
is
this
one of
joke.
people's favorite characters.
This is
over
great.
here.
Oh, John Hoops did a nice board on
Hooper,
this.
just beautiful work.
Yeah. And it just
We
it
bought
was,
a realistic toy shotgun for all these shots.
For all
just to-
those realistic toy
yeah.
shotguns they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
the fall is
Just to
great.
get the right
great.
angles on. I like guns and stuff and mechanical things to look like what they look like.
Well,
you know,
I
in
think this
cartoons.
movie
There's-
achieves that on all levels.
There's
especially
nothing
this end
funnier
bit.
to me than like a Simpsons character holding a very realistic looking
Yeah.
gun. It's
Well, Simpson design and like tape on Milhouse's glasses. That's just part of the thoroughness of
those
design.
little observational
Yeah.
things.
I just love this as he's talking. We just have him just
just walks
pleasantly
up.
walking. He
he's
just
dead.
walks up nonchalantly. A great animation
And that
Crystal did. here.
Crystal Chesney Thompson
really
did a
my
lot of the.
favorite
Kathy
piece of
Jones
animation
also
there.
did a lot of this Lisa animation.
Well, that I like ice cream. It's just one of my favorite
Yeah.
pieces.
And
This
this
is
in the film.
Kathy's scene.
the sweaty hand. Remember the test screenings? People were like laughing at that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Loving it.
I'm glad that they brought that particular scene, that wide shot, and it's such a hero's kind of,
Yep.
Return.
homecoming type of entrance.
Yeah, and then this joke always.
Oh,
gets
this
big
is a
laugh.
great
Yeah,
The idea is just you keep the dog looking as happy as possible.
like dogs do.
yeah.
With his
Oh,
tongue
and
out.
Carl back there, if you notice, is doing the Lando Calrissian
Yeah.
acting at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Right.
At the Ewok celebration.
And this is an
this is
amazing
a great
Crystal
Crystal did a
Beautiful.
job
animated
with
this
Along with the music
um,
cue and everything.
Yeah.
Colin
sweet.
Heck storyboarded it, and it
Yeah, Colin
was
and I worked on
beautiful
this.
in the reels. And I was like, we gotta give it. We have to give it. It should, look as good as those boards.
This-
we
and this
gotta
was
do it
done-
justice.
Really quite. We actually didn't have all the animation here, so that's why I panned up quickly.
Get to the top of the house.
Well, this was a recall. Jeff Johnson did the original one on the roof, and then months and months and months later, when this was devised, he came back and redid it. Do it again.
And we had all this.
The crazy
it's just
stuff that
really
came after.
Crazy stuff. And we had this other
Yeah.
shot we were going to do. I think we talked about the other commentary. That was like, no, just cut to black.
Yep.
And you're done.
Nah, it rocks,
That's
man.
great.
Yeah.
Well, if there's anybody I forgot to mention, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But you
I
know,
didn't have a
so
bunch of
many of
notes
you.
in front of me. Like,
if you look at the end of the credits, you probably could see them.
Yes.
I know that guy, David.
Yeah.
I missed the name. I'm sorry. I was looking down.
You know, the voice talent was extraordinary all for the whole year because, like we had to reanimate things and adapt to the ever-changing scripts, they would adapt to it with new reads and new performances, and I think a lot of them pushed the fold. After
yeah.
18 years of TV, they brought their game to this
Yeah.
movie and are amazing.
And they didn't know the whole story either.
Oh no, they were as
talking-
in the dark as
No,
we
but
were.
they kept every time they just gave
would
it their
come
all
in
Yeah,
each-
they're
like,
so
we'd get-
talented.
This was
We'd
a
get new
sequence that was
pages.
actually in the movie, right?
Well, this was going to be, this was another. Matt Fauna did the sequence where Burns' house is being looted, and it was very funny, and it looked really great. But in the context of the film,
Yeah.
it just didn't hold.
But there was
you
a
know?
comeback to Burns from that referred to Rich's sequence.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was kind
Oh,
of, it was kind of, yeah, the payoff to, you know,
Yeah.
look into your hearts.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was
he actually
looking-
said it to Apu,
Yeah.
you know.
And,
he goes,
uh,
"Oh, you got to be kidding me." You know,
And it was funny, but
as he's stealing the stuff.
but you know you don't. Well, we don't really need this payoff or this
Yeah.
comeback
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it. So you know what are we doing?
It's
Thank
not
you,
like
Green Day.
Burns had like a
An arc.
thread. He didn't have an arc running through the thing. But,
You know, Fat Tony just had that one line, but it's a huge line in the movie.
Oh, it's very
great,
memorable.
you know.
And of course, we Tom Hanks had recorded about 3 alts on that, and that one was so funny that it was worth coming back to.
But by the way, David, the ethereal choral version of Spider Pig made me rush out and buy the soundtrack
know.
for retail the day it came out. I had
Yeah.
to have it.
Well, it was mentioned in the other track, but I'll say it again. It was a goof that Hans Zimmer did. It wasn't. No one asked for it. He just did it for fun. He had the choir there, and he just
I just
had them record this, and it was so funny, and it just seemed to work really well
at
in the Epiphany.
At the
Yeah.
premiere
No, it's
party,
the
they
same
had
thing.
a choir outside the entrance singing it.
I was looking at them for
Now
about
that's
5
big.
minutes.
now that's a big premiere, folks.
Yeah,
When you got a choir out in front,
singing Spider Pig.
Singing-
you know,
Spider-Man.
then you know you're at a premiere.
No, I did the same thing after I heard that. I went out and bought the CD.
John Carnahan. What
Oh,
an
yeah.
editor.
John
Well,
Carnahan
John
did a brilliant
Carnahan,
job
we
editing,
salute
and
you.
of course Hans Zimmer's music.
You know,
And Richard Sakai,
Richard Sakai,
handled this. There was
Amazingly.
a stealth warrior, man.
well,
he
there was
just
this whole collection of artists we had of this trailer.
There's Mike
the
here.
editing trailer.
Hey, Mike.
And- Hey,
Lauren,
hey,
out-
Lauren.
out in
Lauren
middle
Wisconsin.
America
Hey,
somewhere
Rich-
right
Rich
Rich
now.
Moore and Stephen
Hey, it's
Dean
me,
Moore,
Even
cross
Dean Moore.
country.
who actually aren't related.
And Greg
That's right.
Vanzo, who
Van-
Greg,
Vanzo.
the
Chickened
great
out.
Greg Vanzo.
he
He's
wouldn't
been
show
here the
up.
whole time. He didn't say anything. Greg.
There's
Jay,
Craig and Denise
Craig Sos, Denise.
Woo-hoo. and Amanda.
And Denise
Man,
is
Amanda, thank you
she's
for not
right
losing
behind
your-
us in the
your
booth
marbles
right
there.
now.
Hello, Denise.
That's Matt Orafice.
And actually, a lot of animals were harmed. That's a
Yes.
Yeah,
misnomer there.
human animals.
yeah.
And Steve
That's
like
Markowski.
Markowski, Bob
Many
Anderson,
animals were
Chris
ignored.
Clements,
The
and Matt
animals of the
Fauna, and
people who worked on the
Lance
movie
Kramer.
were working.
Lance Kramer.
These are all well-versed
Nancy
expert
Cruz,
Simpson directors and
Oliver,
animators.
and Raymond Percy.
Raymond, thank you
Chuck
for
Sheets.
Good
the
old Chuck
carnival
Sheets.
section. Crystal, God bless you.
Brian
Ralph
Francis,
Sosa.
Ryan
you the man.
Francis, Lauren's assistant.
Simpsons
Great,
All Stars.
great,
I think if
Great
this proves
animator.
anything, it proves that we can read.
Yes,
Lindsay,
which is important.
Lindsay, my timer, thank you.
Oh, the great timing directing from everybody.
everyone.
The timers, I
Just
have to
all-
mention
Richard Gaspari.
Adam
did a wonderful
Coleman.
job.
You said Richard.
Oh, the great Neil Affleck, who another Canadian. You know what?
Oh,
I got
God.
it done with Canadians, right?
and
But
Rob
Neil,
Ingram.
directed many great episodes on the show and has done great timing for everybody, and really great to have him on the movie, man.
Yeah, we were lucky to get
Steve
Neil.
Babe Saki.
Oh yeah.
Steve
old
Hey
Steve
Babe
Babe
Saki.
So
Babe.
talking about
Great.
Gary McCarver, our overseas
And Gar-
supervising director.
Yeah,
who-
Gary McCarver did an amazing job.
There's
as well.
Dima.
There's Dima,
and
Razul,
Razul.
and
I
Scott.
so
Scott.
loved
And
working
Gary.
with those guys and becoming
right,
their
we can
friends,
read.
and I admire their work so much. And
Joel and Jaspreet and
Yeah,
Lauren and
Razul
Catherine.
has done many Disney films. He's actually now back working on a Disney film, and Dima has done
Rough
many,
draft. That
many.
Claudia,
Hey, Claudia.
Katz kept it all together there. Geraldine and
Claudia and
Elise
I have the same
Karen.
birthday.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Peter
we were on a
gave.
plane that day.
Yeah.
Peter kept the
he
trailer
was the,
together.
There's the
liaison
trailer
between
people.
all things Simpson.
Hello.
Fitzy, how you doing?
Yeah, Fitzy.
Well, they did a terrific job. The board artists,
Great
they all did a
board
wonderful
artists.
Some of the
job.
people
And
on
they
the
worked very
trailer-
fast. Turned everything
Some of
very
the people on the
Archer, I love
trailer
ya.
started out as production people, and we talked them into becoming artists, and now they're over at the trailer being
Yeah.
artists.
Yep.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning.
I gotta
designers
mention
Joe
Lucas
Wack
Gray
too.
He,
Amazing.
From that
Kevin
whole
Newman.
idea of jumping the gorge, you know, like in
Oh,
one
he-
day.
he boarded
sitting
that
down
day.
with Lucas, and I gave him roughs, and
Yeah.
He just kind of
Unbelievable.
made it happen.
There's too many
I mean,
people to name here.
Yeah, too many. But you know, David,
I
one
love
of-
you all.
Yeah.
boarding, I mean, a lot of the stuff was really, there's a huge amount of cinematic presentation in this, but there's also flat presenting the joke stuff, and that's the balancing act that is directing a
Well,
movie
it seemed
like
to
this.
me that you wanted to open it up, but you had to be clear when you were telling the jokes. And sometimes I was even questioning myself, am I being cinematic enough here? But no, it's serving the story.
Yep.
And that I have to do first, and then I can sort of analyze it after the fact.
Right.
But
Well, but
everything seemed to be working.
But
for
early
me, so.
on, the issue of being cinematic enough was an issue, and that's
Yep.
where
Was a huge
Well,
that's
there was
why
a
we
time
put
where it
so
wasn't
much
even
into it.
it was possible it wasn't going to be widescreen.
right.
You know,
Right.
not super widescreen anyway.
No, actually, I kind of won that
Kinda
battle
had that
early.
one going.
That was an
Yeah.
early battle one that actually wasn't too hard to win. All I did is I did compositions of it in 1.85 and then in super widescreen, and they sort of said,
Thank
"Yeah,
you,
let's go
Acom.
super widescreen."
Well,
and that art's
and-
still sitting around the studio, and it's so beautiful. You know what?
and
I,
we sold that actually.
I have to say too, it's
For
been a
$8.
pleasure to sequence
Yeah.
direct in the company of greatness.
Yeah.
You know, Rich.
Yeah.
Likewise.
You're like
Same
one of my
here.
mentors,
Absolutely.
Steve, David. Pleasure working with you on this level.
Always great, man.
It was a good time. It was really hard, but now that the hard part is over, I'm really happy. It's grand to be part of such a event like the Simpsons movie.
Yeah.
This is kind of we're seeing like the natural evolution of these characters. You know, like
The
moving from
completely
TV to-
unpredictable evolution
you
of these
know.
characters from 18 years ago.
right
You know,
Well, additionally,
now
we
to movies. You know, and
we've worked together for so long. I
Yeah.
mean, at the very beginning of the show, and it was really great to be working with you guys on the movie because that was it just seemed like a great way to come full circle in many respects.
well, and it's almost like season 1 of the show.
is.
It was a hard birth. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and so of course the movie is going to be just you
Yeah.
know.
But the main
just
difference
as
was-
challenging.
when season 1 of the show was very hard, but it was different on the movie. It was very hard, but the level of talent was so high.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was as hard as it was.
Right.
It was just amazing to work with so many talented artists.
So many great people. You know.
Yeah, just our veterans and the people that we got from hired on. It was just terrific.
And I mean,
Great
just
crew.
as a director, I mean, you've heard us talk about how we direct the artists and stuff, but the artists do more than just draw. You know, they think about scenes,
Right.
and
They bring a lot.
they
to
bring a
them,
lot to the
Yeah.
table.
You know.
well, I think that's what makes The Simpsons pretty special. People don't understand that. People love The Simpsons so much that they invest themselves in it, and these artists bring something to the table. It's not just us dictating what to do. They're bringing
Absolutely.
their
Well, and
artists.
you can't dig
You
your
can't-
heels in too deep to where it's like, no, I want it just like this. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, and
Always
also
gotta keep
it's-
it open.
they surprise you. You
Mhm.
bring in something you
Yeah.
didn't expect, and you're like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be open to new ideas.
Well, this is the thing because it always keeps going from every person that goes down. Everybody brings an idea. They're sort of mini directing their bits of animation, and they show it to the director, and they show it to me, and it keeps on expanding really. From the written word, from the dialogue, and then through the animation.
By the
True-
way, thank
true.
you, TV show, for letting us rate
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. You know, the series we had to borrow.
Sorry, Mr. Kirkland.
Borrow, beg, and steal.
Yeah, let's a big hand to Bart Kirkland for
Yeah.
allowing us to decimate the TV staff.
We needed
for
the
sake
top
of the movie.
talent for this baby.
You know
we
what?
got
he
it.
he
All
held
of
the
it.
series together.
Yep.
I can't think of a better way going out than
Yeah.
thanking Mark Kirkland.
Shh.